Welcome to the Fight Night Daily Podcast. I am Spencer Oliver and he is Paul Smith. We are here at the weigh-in for Joshua Buatsi versus Zach Parker. It's a light heavyweight, heavy show this Saturday night. And Paul, first thoughts, initial thoughts on Zach Parker, Joshua Buatsi. How do you think they looked on the scales?
I thought Buatsi looked like he's done a little bit of work to make the weight, but he always does. And listen, I'm not disrespecting him, saying it's the haircut and the beard and the way he lets himself go before the fight. He'll go to a barber later on, he'll get trimmed up, he'll look $1 million tomorrow, and he'll be fueled tomorrow just like he did in his last fight against people at the Callum. That's how he always does it. But I think obviously the way they make the weight, it doesn't tend to have that much of an effect when he gets in the ring fight night, because he's an unbelievable fighter. Parker, I thought he looked okay, but it's Parker for me in a few previous fights, last 3 fights. I've seen a couple of little signs me of him looking like he may be on the way out. And I might be wrong. I might be setting myself up for a big fall, but I can't see past the Buatsi win at the moment. But listen, both of them will be different fighters than they were on the scales tomorrow, as you know.
A lot of people are talking about Joshua Buatsi. Yeah, it was his first loss against your brother, actually, back in February, in a Fight of the Year contender with Callum Smith, and a lot of people are saying, what has that taken out of him, and psychologically, what will that do to him? Because as you know, Paul, like sometimes a loss can be a moulding of a fighter, but another time it can be the breaking of a fighter as well. Where are you with that, with Buatsi losing his last fight and coming out in this one?
It's a good point, Spence, and I'm hoping, because I like the lad, that it's the making of him, and I think it could be the making of him, because it was a brutal fight, it was a grueling fight, but it was a fight against someone who without sounding like I'm putting him down. I've said that for a while. Callum's the best light heavyweight in the country, and he's a good fighter, and there's no shame in it whatsoever. And I know Joshua Buatsi won't certainly be feeling any shame, because he's been in there with Callum, so he knows how good Callum is, and he's very respectful himself. So I think he'll deal with it in a way that it will be the making of him, and I'm hoping that way, because as I say, he's a gentleman. He had to have respect before, during, and after the fight, and he's got it probably more so after the fight now, as you know well, how the boxing game works. But I think it'll be the making of him, and I think we'll see a good performance from him tomorrow night.
Like I said, the focus is very much on the light heavyweights here tomorrow, and we've got a European light heavyweight title on the card as well. Bradley Ray just picked up that European title against Shakan Peters last time out, back in Hull. He defends for the first time against Lyndon Arthur. Now, many would say Lyndon Arthur starts this one as a favourite. Where are you on it?
Possibly, but given the fact that Brad Ray beat Shakan Peters for the European title in his last fight, which I watched, that's probably giving him a little bit more momentum, I think, as the champion. But it's a very good fight. It's a local derby as well, and I think one's the Port City, one United as well, from what I've been seeing. 2 good fighters who've given it all to the game. I think Brad Ray might be the younger and the fresher out of the two, and he probably is just a favourite, but to be honest with you, I probably couldn't pick a winner after that one's a close fight.
And Liam Cameron versus Troy Jones, another fascinating fight as well. Liam Cameron actually had 2 losses and 1 draw in his last 3 fights, and very much needs a win here, Paul, to keep his career alive. But Troy Jones is no pushover. He's a tough guy himself.
Yeah, you want to be a bit quiet today, because Liam Cameron's actually 4 yards away from you getting his photos took, and he might come over and throw one on you.
Well, it's all right, mate. He's had something to eat and drink, so he's back now. He's refueled.
He's got his manly packy old robe on. He looks great, to be honest with you. You'll be in for a treat when you see his kid tomorrow. He's looking really good. But no, I seen the story of Liam Cameron is a great one. It's a good one. And as soon as I saw him before, I shook his hands. That was the house. Like, he must be so happy having his house now. And what has he done? He's bought a house with the winnings that he's had from boxing, with his purses that he's made from boxing, after completely turning his life around. So I think he's a great story for anyone who's maybe in a bit of hard times, who's having a bit of bad luck. Just keep persevering, you'll get through, and that's what he's doing. And he's on a massive show tomorrow night. Now, listen, it's tough to say, because you don't know mentally how much his heart's still in it now that he's done okay since he's had the 2 Ben Whittaker fights. But I hope he's still got something about him, because he's such a likeable lad as well.
Listen, it's a fascinating fight, and it's a fascinating division at the moment, isn't it? I mean, you can, fast forward to November the 22nd, you get Anthony Yarde going in against David Benavidez. How do you see that one, by the way? Has Yarde got a chance?
Yeah, Yarde has always got a chance. I don't think he's this sort of massive monster puncher everyone makes out. I'm not disrespecting him, but he's talented, he's good. But what we've seen in his 2 fights that he's lost on the big stage before is he's being competitive, and he's been in it for 6, but then the engine empties and the tank drains, and that's an issue from the gym, as you know. You know yourself.
Yeah.
If you're getting in the ring and you're fighting and you can't do past 8 rounds at a good pace and maintain a pace for 12, That's a gym issue, so that needs addressing. And I hope he's got the engine this time, because if he has, he can make an argument of it. But I just think Benavidez is too good, and there's no disrespect to Yard. Benavidez is some fighter, and no one's really found the way just yet.
Not many people get an opportunity to fight for a world title 3 times, and Anthony Yard has done that. But you know, you got to respect it. You go Kovalev away from home back in 2019, Beterbiev, who was a pound for pound star, and now he goes in against potentially another pound.
Gave a good account for
it's a tough road
with them as well. Didn't Spencer? Oh, listen, I always say sometimes, you know, that the belt is only as good as the person you win it off. And there's fighters out there who've won the British title against the fighter that probably shouldn't have had it, or a world title against fighters who weren't probably as good. But then, unfortunately for him, his 3 world title shots have been against Beterbiev, obviously now Benavidez, which it's some going for him, but it's a tough ask. And I think Benavidez is just a little bit out there ahead.
The British scene at the moment is thriving as well in the light heavyweights. Who's your pick at the moment? Who's the best light heavyweight in Britain right now?
Come on, mate. He's 6'3.5", and I used to rob his dinner growing up.
All right. Let's rephrase that question. Take your brother out of the equation.
Yeah.
Who's the next best light heavyweight? Buatsi.
I think it's been proven. I think the number 1's Callum, number 2's Buatsi. I can't make an argument for anyone else after watching Buatsi up close, seeing how good he was, knowing like the desire and determination that he showed in that fight, and the heart to keep digging in when it was getting hard. Because trust me, it gets hard when someone like Callum's unloading on body shots on you. So even if I wasn't going to say anyone else, but you know, Callum's obviously proven that he's beat Buatsi now. But I've always said that I think Buatsi is the best out of that bunch, and Callum's out there by himself. But now it's being proven.
Yeah, the light heavyweight division really buzzing at the moment. And one guy we caught up with earlier on was Willy Hutchinson, and he was talking about a certain fighter. Listen to what he had to say.
What you think about Ben Whittaker, because he's also in the light heavyweight division and he's creating a lot of noise right now.
Definitely, but really and truly he's creating a lot of noise on YouTube. He's not creating a lot of noise in the ring, is he? If you want to know the honest truth, I think anyone half decent will absolute backslap him and do a job on him. As I seen with Liam Cameron, I mean, he quitted, didn't he? You know, no matter what things go, what things done, the fella did quit. Yeah, he come back and he beat that man. But we're talking worlds away here. We're talking good men, and we're talking world class men. There's a different stage here. He's making noise on YouTube, doing his MCing and dancing about. But in the ring, you know, it's not there for me.
So there you go. Yeah, Willy Hutchinson there talking about Ben Whittaker and saying, you know what, forget what he does in the ring, because I'm not that impressed with that. It's more about YouTube with him than the talent that he's actually got in the ring. Do you agree with that?
I don't know. I like Willy Hutchinson. I don't know if I agree, but I think he's got a bit of talent. I think Ben Whittaker has talent. I think if he works hard at it and he gets it brought out in the right way, I don't think it's the talent that we should question with him. I think he's got a few question marks that he needs to answer himself from the first Liam Cameron fight. When the going gets tough, can he stick in there? And I'm not disrespecting him saying that. I like the lads. I think what we're seeing is a persona. I think there's a nice lad in there, and I think the cockiness and the arrogance is a persona. What he's got to now keep up. And that's how he is as a fighter. But as a fighter, I think he's a very good fighter. But I also rate Hutchinson. I think he's a lovely lad as well. And he's a lump. He's a big lad. You've just obviously had the conversation as I have, and up closer personally. He's a big lad as well. He's big for the weight. He's strong. He can bang as well. That's a great fight. It's one I'd love to see also.
Listen, Ben Whittaker, we see him back in the ring on November the 29th. And possibly we could see that fight. I know that Willy Hutchinson is looking for a fight of that sort of magnitude. It's fascinating times, Paul, for these light heavyweights coming through, and let's switch it up a little bit. Let's move on to November the 15th. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn, the rematch. Great fight.
Yeah, it's a good fight. I was asked my opinion on this before, and I always mentioned the fact that I think Eubank won well in the first fight. I didn't have it as close as a lot of other people made out, but the fact that he was getting hurt by Ben when he shouldn't be getting hurt by Ben, because he's a big middleweight who's been in there with with super middles and light heavies as well, and yet he was still managing to get hurt, to get rocked. And I think obviously, as I've said before, I think Eubank is coming towards the very end of his career, and I think I said a while ago, I think he was an accident waiting to happen, but he came through that fight in the Conor Benn fight. You know what? I thought it was a great night. It's a fight that I'll tune in to watch again. I know Simon will be kicking the telly watching us both talking about this now, but I will want to watch that. I am a sucker for nostalgia, and the first fight was a very good fight, a competitive fight, so why wouldn't I want to tune in for the next one?
Listen, it doesn't matter about what you think about the fight, whether it was world-class, not world-class, but the fact is they both left it all in the ring, and it was 100%. An absolute classic.
I think that's the thing though, Spencer. They both left it in the ring, and it was a very close competitive fight. It was not very close, but it was a very competitive fight, and it shouldn't have been competitive, because the bigger man should have been dominating the fight, in my opinion.
Here, Paul, I'll give one for you. Bomac now is involved with Chris Eubank Jr. in this fight. Now, I think he could be instrumental in that because, you know, you saw what he done there with Terence Crawford and the master plan he had against Canelo Alvarez. I think that could play a huge part with Eubank Jr. And you know yourself, because we've both done it ourselves, if you miss the weight just by a smidge, your performance is terrible. And I think that was probably Eubank on his worst night. If he gets the weight right going into this one, because it's no secret now, he's getting older and he's struggling to make that weight. If he gets that weight right, Bomac comes with that game plan, surely you'd have to lean towards him as being a heavy favourite. Like you say, the question mark is, what has he got left?
It's what he got left. I'm not sure he has it. He has much left, as I've said, but Bomac being there will be a big positive influence for Eubank on both making the weight and both tactically in the fight, and both, you know, just that extra added sort of bit of experience on the team when he's walking in there on fight night. Conor Benn knows he's in there with a top trainer in Bomac. We had him on Talk Boxing a few weeks ago, didn't we? And he's obviously a very confident trainer, very capable in his own right and confident in his own ability as a trainer. He thinks he's the best out there in the world. There's probably not many arguments that he is at the moment. So I think he's a top trainer, and having him in your corner can only be a benefit.
What would you do if you was training Conor Benn? What tactically would you do different to what he done in the first fight?
I'm not sure if he can do much different. I wouldn't let Eubank breathe. You ought to be smart with it. You can't just be going forward because you will get picked off. Eubank's got a really good underrated jab. I've sparred him a lot. We've watched him a lot, obviously, when Liam was fighting him both times. But I think you can't let him breathe. You've got to make him work hard. And Conor Benn does fight that way and can fight that way. We've seen clips of him on the heavy bag recently. We've seen clips of him in the gym working with Tony Sims. And he throws big, wild shots. I would swing up high, a lot of the shots high. I'd aim high up on the head just to try and catch him and get that reaction out to Eubank again, because I don't think he's going to try and outbox Eubank. And Eubank isn't the best boxer, but he's a very good fighter inside. So in and out bursts, use the feet, high shots, whip them over. He throws a lot of explosive, powerful shots, whipping them over the top, Conor Benn. And I think they're dangerous shots for Chris Eubank. So I wouldn't let Eubank breathe, personally.
Can't wait for that one. That's November the 15th. But back to Saturday night, Zach Parker versus Joshua Buatsi. Come on, give us a final prediction.
I'm gonna go for Buatsi stoppage, middle rounds.
Buatsi stopping middle rounds. Fair play to you, mate. Okay. Looking forward to that one. That's it from the Fight Night Daily Podcast. You can catch us again tomorrow.